Good morning, children. So, here we are going to start with a new chapter, and this will be the last chapter of your syllabus, that is Company Accounts Redemption of Debentures. Previously, we have discussed the chapter Issue of Debentures, and we have also discussed how the redemption entries are passed and what are the effects of various redemption conditions, redemption at premium, etc., at the time of issue. So let us begin with the chapter, first of all, with the meaning of redemption of debentures. Before starting with it, the literal meaning of the word redemption is the repayment. Since we know that debentures are the borrowed capital, that means these amount needs to be repaid back to the debenture holders after a certain period of time. So that repayment to the debenture holders after the expiry period or after the aforesaid period is known as redemption of debentures. As you can read here, redemption of debentures means repayment of the amount of debentures to debenture holders, as I already explained to you. In other words, redemption refers to discharge of liability on account of debentures by repaying the due amount of debentures. The terms and conditions of redemption are stated in the prospectus inviting applications for the issue of debentures. The terms of redemptions are also clearly stated in the debenture certificate. Hence, the redemption is made in accordance with the terms of issue. So as we have already discussed while discussing the chapter issue of debentures, that all the conditions regarding the issue and redemption of debentures, whether these are to be issued at par, premium, discount, or whether these are to be redeemed at par or premium, etc., all the conditions are very well mentioned in the prospectus while inviting the applications. And while redeeming the debentures, all those terms and conditions needs to be fulfilled. Now, the sources of finance for the redemption of debentures, that means how the company or from where the company will get the money to redeem or to repay the debenture amount to the debenture holders. So as you can read, amount required for the redemption of debentures may be managed by a company from the following sources. That means these are the three sources from where the company can repay its debenture amount. The first one being redemption from the proceeds of fresh issue of shares and debentures. That means in order to pay more amount of previous debentures, new shares and debentures can be issued, and the money so collected from such issue can be utilized towards the repayment of the old debentures. It is somewhat like, you can say, it is somewhat like taking fresh loan to repay the previous loan. The second source is the redemption of debentures out of capital. That means out of the owned capital, owned money, the debentures can be redeemed with obviously certain restrictions. Then the third source is redemption of debentures out of profits. So another method is that debentures can be redeemed out of profits also. So the remaining 2 points we'll be discussing in quite a detail, because these will be useful while you do the accounting questions. But the first one, redemption from the proceeds of fresh issue of shares and debentures. Let us explain this because it is not there practically. Just the theoretical part you need to know, that when a company is in need of additional funds for the redemption of debentures, it may decide to issue new equity shares, preference shares, or debentures. The proceeds of the fresh issue of share capital and debentures are utilized for redeeming the old debentures. In such type of redemption, the financial position of the company is not adversely affected, because the financial position somewhere it remains the same, because previous liability is being written off and the new liabilities are being created replacing it. So this is one method. Rest of the method we will be discussing as we proceed with the video. So as you are already aware, a company, in addition to raising its capital by issuing shares, may borrow from the public by issuing debentures. That we know that a company can borrow money from either owned by issuing shares or debentures. A debenture is, what is a debenture? That also we have discussed while discussing the chapter issue of debentures. That a debenture is a written acknowledgement or a certificate kind of a debt taken by the company, or in simple words, debentures are the loans which the company has taken. From whom? From the public, who are known as debenture holders. Then this debt or loan has to be repaid by the company at a specified date, whatsoever mentioned in the prospectus. The process of repayment of this debt or debenture or discharging the liability on debentures is known as redemption of debentures. What is redemption of debenture? Redemption of debenture is the process of repayment of the debenture amount. Then the persons from whom a company borrows money by issuing debentures are known as debenture holders. Who are the debenture holders? Debenture holders are the people, are the institution, are the persons who have invested in the company by way of subscribing their debentures. Then, methods of redemption of debentures. So basically there are four methods. First method is mentioned here, payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period. That means after the specified period, let's say 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, etc., the payment is made with the full amount, the lump sum amount. Second is payment in installments by draw of lots. That means the entire payment is not made at once, rather it is made in installments. The third method is purchase of own debentures in the open market. That rather than paying it, the debentures which the public had subscribed, the company can buy its debentures back from the public at the discounted price of whatsoever it is, and it can either cancel it immediately after purchasing, or it can keep it as the debenture money invested. And the fourth method, which is not mentioned here, why? Because that is practically not there in your syllabus, that is conversion of debentures into equity shares. So these were the four methods of redemption of debentures, and here I have taken three methods. Why? Because the fourth one is not there in your syllabus. Now, as you can see, there is a small tick mark in the first method, that is payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period. This is so because this is the method which is there in your syllabus for this current session, that is batch 2020-21, because due to pandemic your syllabus has been reduced. So in this case you just have to study the first method practically, that is payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period. That is why a small tick mark is there. And what does it mean that payment in lump sum at the end of the specified period? As you can see in the another box which is given just below this, that on 1st April, for example, on 1st April 2016, a company issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. So that means debentures, 4,000 debentures at the rate 100 each. That means 4 lakh rupees debentures are to be redeemed at par at the face value. That means the face value is 4 lakh. And it will be redeemed at 4 lakh only on 31st March 2020. That means the entire amount of 4 lakh will be repaid on 31st March 2020. So this is the case when the payment is made in lump sum at the end of the specified period. Now the entries which are passed at the time of redemption of debentures, and basically these are the entries which are passed at the time of redemption of debentures at par. This we have already discussed while discussing the redemption entry in case of issue of debentures chapter, but just for a recap or revision sake, there will be 2 entries always at the time of redemption minimum. First will be the due entry and second will be the repayment entry. The first due entry will be percentage debenture account debited. Whatever the rate of interest is, that needs to be prefixed along with the name of debenture. to debenture holders account. This is the due entry, being amount due to debenture holders. Why we are debiting debenture account? Because when we are making the payment to the debenture holders, the debenture account will be closed, the liability will decrease. Therefore, we are debiting debenture account. And why are we creating debenture holders account? Because this is the due entry. That means this much amount is needed to be repaid to the debenture holders. Debenture holders have become our creditors. So this is the due entry which will be passed for redeeming debentures at par. The second entry is for the actual debentures repaid, and the entry will be debenture holders account debited, because now the creditors account, the debenture holders account will be closed, to bank account because we are making the payment through our bank balance. Now the next part, who may issue debentures? Which company or which are the companies who can issue debentures? So as you can read here, all India financial institutions regulated by RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India, such as Exim Bank, that is Export Import Bank, UTI, that is Unit Trust of India, etc. So all those financial institutions which are governed, which are regulated by RBI may issue debentures. Secondly, all the banking companies, that means all the banks, can issue debentures. Thirdly, other financial institutions within the meaning of Section 2, subsection 72 of the Companies Act 2013, such as LIC, IDFC, these can also issue debentures. Fourthly, all listed companies can issue debentures. Fifthly, unlisted non-banking finance company, better known as NBFC, because this word will be very much used frequently while we discuss the further slides, and housing finance company, HFC. NBFC and HFC. Unlisted NBFC and unlisted HFC can also issue debentures. And lastly, other unlisted companies, that is other than NBFC and HFC. For example, manufacturing companies, construction companies, or a private limited company is an unlisted company. Suppose if the question says XYZ private limited, it is not mentioned whether it is listed or unlisted or whatever it is. The word private limited is attached. That means it comes under the category of unlisted companies which may issue debentures. So these are the companies which may issue debentures. Now the sources of finance for redemption of debentures that we have discussed, that majorly there are three sources. At the beginning of the video we have discussed. One is the profits of the company, another one is the capital of the company, and another one is the fresh issue of debentures and shares. But here practically which are mostly used is either the profits of the company or the capital of the company, or both profits as well as the capital of the company. So there are three major sources of finance for redemption of debentures which you need to know. Majorly is profits of the company or capital of the company, or profits and capital of the company both. Now, redemption of debentures only out of profits. That means which are the companies which can redeem debentures only out of profits, totally out of profits. So, redemption of debentures only out of profits, it means that the company repays its debenture holders or redeems its debentures from its profits which are available for distribution as dividend to shareholders. We know that after meeting all the expenses, whatever the residual profit is left, that is utilized to pay off the dividend to the shareholders. So there are companies which can utilize such profit before paying the dividend to the shareholder. Such profits can be utilized to redeem the debentures. To do so, the company has to transfer before redemption begins. It is written in bold. If the company wants to or is entitled to redeem the debentures out of its profit before giving the dividend to the shareholder, then in that case the company needs to transfer. It is mandatory the company needs to transfer before the redemption begins 100% of the total face or the nominal value of the debentures to be redeemed from its profits to a new account called Debenture Redemption Reserve Account, better known as DRR account. So if any company wants to redeem the debentures out of its profit, in that case, before giving or distributing the dividend to the shareholders, the company needs to transfer 100% of, if it is redeeming out of profit totally, then 100% of the face value. Don't forget, if the payment is made only out of profit, then only 100% of the face value. Again, 100% of the face value, irrespective whether the debentures are redeemed at par or it is redeemed at premium or it was issued at par, premium or discount, irrespective. 100% of the face value of debentures to be redeemed has to be transferred from profit to another separate new account, which is known as DRR account or Debenture Redemption Reserve account. Obviously, this reduces the amount of profit available for distribution as dividend to shareholders, because before giving the dividend, we are transferring the amount for the repayment of debentures to a separate account, that is Debenture Redemption Reserve account. Now, after transferring this, then whatever the residual profit is left, that will be ultimately transferred to the shareholders at dividend. So therefore, this creation of DRR reduces the amount of profits available for distribution as dividend to the shareholder. As per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, redemption of debentures out of profits is possible only in case of unlisted companies other than non-banking finance companies, that is NBFC, and housing finance company, that is HFC. So this is one category we have learnt while we were learning which are the companies which can issue debentures. So this category has the exclusive right. Only this company can redeem its debentures totally out of profits. That is, all the unlisted companies other than NBFC, that is non-banking finance companies, and HFC, that is housing finance companies. No other companies other than this can redeem the debentures out of profits only. Now, redemption of debentures only out of capital. Now, which are the companies which can redeem its debentures totally out of capital only? Now, when profits are not set aside for redemption of debentures, the redemption is said to be out of capital. That means when no profit has been transferred to DRR for redeeming debentures, it is said that the redemption will be done out of capital totally. As per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, redemption of debentures purely out of capital is not possible in case of unlisted companies other than non-banking finance companies and housing finance companies. That means unlisted companies other than NBFC and HFC can redeem the debentures only out of profits, but it cannot issue the debentures, redeem the debentures only out of capital. That means either it has the option to redeem out of profits or with a combination of profit and capital, but it cannot redeem only out of capital. Redemption of debentures purely out of capital is possible in case of obviously rest of the companies which we have discussed, which have the power, which are capable of issuing debentures, that is all India financial institutions regulated by RBI, that is like Exim Bank, etc. Banking companies, other financial institutions within the meaning of section 2 subsection 72 of the Companies Act 2013, such as LIC, IDFC, all listed companies, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs. So these are the companies which can redeem its debentures totally purely out of capital, and there is a company, unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs cannot issue or redeem debentures purely out of capital. Either they can redeem the debentures purely out of profits or with the combination of profits and capital. So redemption of debentures out of profits and capital. As you can read here, Redemption of debentures out of profits and capital means redemption of debentures partially out of profits by creating DRR, that is debenture redemption reserve, and partially out of capital using a combination of both. The company will in this case not transferred out of the profits 100% of the total or face nominal value of the debentures to be redeemed to DRR, but as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, will transfer to DRR before redemption begins 10% of the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed. This 10% is the minimum limit. So, summary. If the company is entitled and wants to redeem the debentures purely out of profits, 100% of the face value of debentures to be redeemed needs to be transferred to DRR during the lifetime. Needs to be transferred to DRR from the statement of profit and loss. If the company is using both the combination of partially out of profits and partially out of capital, then in that case, a minimum of 10% of the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed, irrespective whether these are redeemed at par or premium, etc. A minimum of 10% of the total face value of the debentures needs to be transferred to DRR from the statement of PL before the debenture redemption begins. Third point, as per the provisions of Companies Act 2013, redemption of debentures out of profits and capital is possible only in case of unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, non-banking finance companies and housing finance companies. So only, that means the provision for redeeming the debentures both out of profits and capital partially is available exclusively to the unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. Now, provisions of the Companies Act 2013 regarding creation of DRR, that is debenture redemption reserve. What are the rules related to the creation of DRR, debenture redemption reserve, according to Companies Act 2013? Before redemption begins, all unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs will transfer from their profits at least 10% of the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed to a new account called debenture redemption reserve account. No matter whether the debentures are repaid or redeemed in installments or at one go, whatsoever the case may be. If the unlisted company other than NBFCs and HFCs are redeeming the debentures partially out of profit and partially out of capital, then in that case at least 10% according to the new rule. Earlier this was 25%, but according to the new rule, so if there are no changes made in your book, kindly do it. A minimum of 10% of the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed in the entire lifetime will be transferred to a separate account, that is debenture redemption reserve account, out of statement of profit and loss. Now, it is just a recap. Sources of finance for redemption of debentures. As we know, the debentures can be redeemed out of three sources. Firstly, profits of the company, totally out of profits, then totally out of capital of the company, then either partially out of profit and partially out of capital of the company. Totally out of profits of the company can be redeemed only in case by unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. Totally out of capital can be done by all the rest of the companies except unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. That means all India financial institutions regulated by RBI, banking companies, other financial institutions, all listed companies, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs can redeem its debentures totally out of capital. Then the companies which are unlisted, that means unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, can only redeem the debentures out of the combination of profits and capital of the company. That means only these unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs have the right, exclusive right, to either repay the debentures or redeem the debentures totally out of profits or partially out of profit and partially out of capital. Another quick recap regarding the creation of DRR, which companies are entitled to create DRR, which companies are not entitled to create DRR. So remember one thing, DRR or debenture redemption reserve is created when the repayment or debentures are redeemed out of profits, either totally or partially. So all those companies which are not entitled to repay the debentures out of its profit will not create DRR, that is debenture redemption reserve. So that means all India financial institutions regulated by RBI, banking companies, other financial institutions within the meaning of section 2 subsection 72 of the Companies Act 2013 such as LIC, IDFC, all listed companies and unlisted NBFCs and HFCs. All these companies cannot redeem the debentures out of profits exclusively or partially. Therefore, these companies will not create DRR or debenture redemption reserve. Then unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs or the private limited companies, because these are unlisted again, will create DRR at least a minimum of 10% of the outstanding debentures, that is total face value of debentures to be redeemed. They will create a debenture redemption reserve out of their profits. And if they are repaying the debentures or redeeming the debentures totally out of profit, then 100% of the face value of the debentures will be transferred to DRR. Then benefit. What is the benefit? Benefit of the provision of DRR to the investors. What is the benefit of creating this reserve by the companies to the investors? Creation of DRR ensures that a company sets aside a portion of its profits towards repayment of long-term debentures out of profits. When a company that has issued debentures goes bankrupt or faces a liquidity crunch, it usually defaults on its repayments to lenders. In such cases, the existence of DRR reduces the investment risk for the buyer of the debentures. Though companies issue secured debentures, that is with the assets of the company as security, a DRR can help them as well, as recovery of dues by liquidating assets can take a considerable amount of time. So this creation of DRR by the company, this transfer of profit to DRR by the companies helps. It provides a better security to the investors regarding their invested amount, because if at the time when the company faces a failure in redeeming its debentures out of liquidity crunch, or it goes bankrupt, or any kind of insolvency takes place, etc., then in that case at least the amount of such DRR, debenture redemption reserve, can be utilized to repay the debentures, because these are the basically amount kept aside to use it at the time of redemption if the company faces some kind of problem, some kind of crunch. So in that case there will be a lesser risk to the investors. And also, no doubt, as the last point is saying, that obviously sometimes the companies also issue secured debentures. That means debentures are backed up by some certain asset. That means those assets, in the time of obviously failure regarding the repayment, those secured assets can be sold off, and the amount so realized from such assets can be utilized towards repaying or redeeming the debentures. But obviously selling the debentures, selling the assets takes some time. So such reserve amount can be utilized towards the repayment of debentures. Then another very important point, another very important account term other than DRR is DRI, that is debenture redemption investment. This is basically an alternative adopted by the companies to fetch more liquid amount to utilize towards the repayment of debentures. This is basically somewhat that the company invests certain amount in fixed deposit with a scheduled bank or something like that, and before the redemption begins, such investment is sold off, and the amount so recovered from such investment can be utilized towards the repayment of debentures. So obviously all the companies are not entitled to follow this point. Which other companies will be discussing in detail? Purchase of debenture redemption investment. As per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, There are two categories of companies, that is all listed companies and unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, and obviously including the private limited companies, are required to invest in unencumbered or free investment, not backed by any kind of loan or something. At least 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed during the year, not the lifetime of the debentures, to be redeemed during the year between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the redemption is to be made. That means there are two categories of companies as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. One is all listed companies and another one is unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. Remember, who were creating DRR will purchase or will invest at least 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed during the year, not the entire lifetime of the debentures, but to be redeemed during the current year or maturing the year. Those companies will be redeeming such 15% of the face value of such redeeming debentures during the year between 1st April to 30th April of the year in which the redemption is to be made. So what is the date slot? Between 1st April to 30th April. Whatever the date is given in the question, that will be adopted. And if the date is not mentioned, then we can take it as 1st April or so. We can take any date. These investments, for example, deposits with any scheduled bank, etc., are recorded as debenture redemption investment. So while investing such free investment, 15% of the face value of the debentures redeeming during the current year or during the year is categorized or is transferred or is shown as a separate account, that is debenture redemption investment, or better known as DRI. The amount so invested is then recovered at the time of redemption of debentures. That means before the redemption begins, these investments are sold off, and the money so recovered from such investment at the time of redemption of debentures are utilized for the payment to the debenture holders. Now, the types of company who are entitled for DRI. All India financial institutions regulated by RBI, banking companies, other financial institutions within the meaning of Section 2, subsection 72 of the Companies Act 2013, such as LIC, IDFC, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs, they are not entitled to create DRI. They are not entitled to invest in debenture redemption investment. And if you remember, they are not entitled for the creation of DRR even. Then all listed companies and unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, and also private limited companies, because these are also unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, are required to invest or deposit between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the redemption is to be made a sum which shall not be less than, that means a minimum of 15% of the amount of its debentures maturing during the current year. That means a minimum of 15% of the debentures maturing during the year needs to be invested in debenture redemption investment account, that is basically fixed deposit with scheduled bank or something like that. Deposit with scheduled bank. So which are the companies which will be investing in DRI? All listed companies and unlisted companies and private limited companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. And all listed companies entitled for DRI but not for DRR. But unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs and private limited companies are entitled both for DRR and DRI. So this is the table which is showing you that which are the types of companies and whether they are entitled for DRR and DRI or not. So as you can see, all India financial institutions regulated by RBI, banking companies, other financial institutions within the meaning of Section 2, subsection 72 of the Companies Act 2013, such as LIC, IDFC, and unlisted NBFCs and HFCs are neither entitled for DRR nor DRI. But all listed companies is not entitled for DRR, but it will be investing in DRI. And unlisted companies other than NBFCs, NHFCs, and obviously the private limited companies also needs to create DRR, as well as they are needed or required to invest in DRI. Now, amount and accounting treatment of DRR. Example. On 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company. Now, as soon as the word unlisted comes, immediately the thing which should pop up into your mind that this company, again you have to see whether it is NBFC, HFC, or other than that. So it is saying unlisted construction company, that is these are the unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. So immediately the thing which should pop up into your mind is that these companies are required to create a DRR and also to invest in DRI. Issued 4,008% debentures of rupees 100 each, that means the face value becomes 4 lakh, to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. The provisions for the Companies Act 2013 were followed and the debentures were redeemed on the due date. So even if the question is silent, we know that the provision of the Companies Act needs to be followed. This is an unlisted company other than NBFC and HFC. That means this will be creating DRR as well as investing in the DRI and selling the DRI and realizing the amount before redemption begins. So as you can see, the company will transfer from its profits. Now, the question is silent whether it is paying exclusively out of profits or partially out of profit and partially out of capital. If the question would have said that it is paying entirely out of profit, then we would have transferred 100% of the face value, that is entire 4 lakh would have been transferred to DRR. But since the question is silent, so we will assume that it is partially redeeming out of profit and partially out of capital. And since nothing is mentioned how much it is redeeming out of profit, so we'll follow the basic rule. That means a minimum of 10% of the face value of the total debentures to be redeemed will be transferred. That means the company will transfer from its profit before redemption begins to DRR an amount equal to 10% of the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed. So the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed is 4 lakh. So 10% of 4 lakh is 40,000. So 40,000 is the amount which should be transferred from statement of PLN, that is profit and loss, to DRR. The entry for this will be, as you can see, again very important point, the format of journal needs to be followed strictly. You have to mention the word journal, you have to label all the columns, whether the question is for 4 marks, 2 marks or 8 marks irrespective, or 12 marks. Kindly make the format properly and also mention the word journal, and try to also mention the narration, otherwise you will lose half or 1 mark. So as you can see the particulars, we have passed the entries surplus in statement of PL, profit and loss, debited to debenture redemption reserve account. And we know in case of company we don't have PLL account, we have statement of PL. So we are transferring the amount to debenture redemption reserve out of profit and loss statement. So the entry will be surplus in statement of profit and loss, because this will reduce the balance of profits available to the to be distributed as dividend to the shareholders. To debenture redemption reserve account, debenture redemption reserve will be created. It is kind of a liability, therefore it will be carrying a credit balance. And how much we are transferring? At least 10% of the face value. So 40,000, that is 10% of 4 lakh. The date, month or year, as you can see in the date column, the date will be obviously before the redemption begins. So our redemption begins on 31st March 2020. So that means you can transfer this amount to reserve on 31st March 2019 or something like that, any time before the redemption. Now, just to make you more clear about case number 1, date on which DRR will be created. Example 1. On 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. The provisions of the Companies Act 2013 were followed and debentures were redeemed on the due date. So if you remember, the question is the same which we had discussed just now. The entry which we had discussed, that was just for the creation of DRR. Now the date of creation of DRR by a prudent company having the required amount of profit should be any time before redemption, at the end of the year and at the end of any accounting year before redemption. So since our redemption is being done on 31st March 2020 and the debentures are issued on 1st April 2016, so DRR can be created on any 31st March before redemption. That means either on 31st March 2017 or 31st March 2018 or 31st March 2019. Since the date of creation of DRR is not specified in the example, it can be assumed that the company did not make profits in the first 3 years of the life of debentures. Hence, it will create DRR just before redemption on the date of redemption of debentures itself, which is 31st March 2020, from its current year's profit. Assumption is that since the debentures are being redeemed, the company has made a profit in the current year. So this is saying that the debenture redemption reserve can be created on any given dates before redemption, 31st March 2017, 18 or 19. But since the question is silent regarding the date, so we will assume that in such 3 years the company did not incur any profits, and we know that the DRR will be created only out of profit. So that means, since we are assuming in the absence of any information, we are assuming that the company is not incurring any profit in the given years. So we will assume that in the last year, in the year of redemption, the company is incurring profit, because then only it is redeeming the debentures, obviously. So we are passing that, we are creating the DRR on the date of redemption, or we can say the ending year before redemption, that is on 31st March 2020, assuming that it is incurring the required profits in the current year, then only it is paying. Case number 2, date on which DRR will be created. This is another case which can happen. On 1st April 2018, in the previous question, the debentures were redeemed at the end of an accounting year. So that was easy to analyze about the date. In this case, the debentures are redeemed during the year, not the end of the year. On 1st April 2018, an unlisted construction company issued 4,008% debentures of rupees 100 each to be redeemed at par on 1st October 2020. Amount is the same, but the dates are changed. The provisions of the Companies Act 2013 were followed and the debentures were redeemed on the due date. So the issue of debentures took place on 1st April 2018 and the redemption is due on 1st October 2020. So before 1st October 20, DRR, as we know, the date of creation of DRR by a prudent company having the required amount of profit should be either 31st March 2019 or 31st March 2020 for the accounting year 2019-20. Since the date of creation of DRR is not specified in the example, it can be assumed that the company did not make profits in the first 2 years of the life of debentures. As the company is redeeming the debentures on 1st October 2020, its quarterly results of the current year from April to June 2020 and then July to September 2020 would have shown profits made during this 6-month period, and so the company will create DRR just before redemption, that is on the date of redemption of debentures itself, which is 1st October 2020. Again the same logic here also, that we are assuming, since the date is not mentioned, so we are assuming that the company did not incur profit in the previous years. So we will assume that the profit has been incurred in the remaining rest of the period just before the redemption. So we are passing, or we will be creating the DRR on the date of redemption just before the redemption begins. So as you can see, date on which DRR will be created, it is just a recap. In case 1, the DRR will be created. The creation of DRR entry surplus in statement of PL debited 40,000 to DRR account 40,000 will be passed on 31st March 2020 just before the redemption. And in case number 2, the creation of DRR entry surplus in statement of PL debited 40,000 to DRR account 40,000 will be passed again on the date of redemption before the redemption entries or before the redemption begins, that is 1st October 2020. Now, purchase and accounting treatment of DRI. That is, what will be the accounting treatment, what will be the date, etc. of DRI, that is debenture redemption investment. As you can see, the same example, on 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company, again unlisted construction company, that is unlisted other than NBFC and HFC. That means the thing which should pop up into your mind, that is this company will be creating the DRR, for which we have seen the entries and the date, and this company will also be investing in DRI. So it issued 4,008% debentures of rupees 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. So the amount of DRI to be purchased, what is the date? Before the redemption, that is before 31st March 2020, whatever the April is there. So from 1st April 2019 to 30th April 2019, any date. How much is to be invested? A minimum of 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed in the current year. So in this case, 31st March 2020. So since we are making the lump sum payment at once, so the face value of the debentures to be redeemed, again the face value of the debentures to be redeemed in the current year is 4 lakh. So 15% of 4 lakh, since the question is silent, so we'll be investing a minimum of 15%. So 15% of 4 lakh will be 60,000. That means 60,000 will be invested in DRI. So the entry for this will be, again, be very careful, be very particular with the format of journal. The entry will be just like purchasing any asset. Debenture redemption investment account will be debited. Because we are purchasing an investment, it is an asset, it is a purchase of an asset. So debenture redemption investment account will be debited with the amount of, with the value of investment, that is 60,000, that is 15% of the face value of debentures maturing during the current year, to bank account, because we are making the payment through bank, 60,000. The narration being DRI or debenture redemption investment purchase, and the date can be from 1st April 2019 to 30th April 2019, any date between this period. So in the absence of any information, we have taken the date as 1st April 2019. Now, what is to be done with this investment? This investment needs to be sold off and realized before the redemption begins, so that its money can be utilized for the repayment of debentures. So the sale and accounting treatment of DRI. The entire amount of DRI is sold on the date of redemption of debentures. This act also eases the cash position of the company. Again the same example. 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. That means, obviously, since it is an unlisted construction company, unlisted company other than NBFC and HFC, that means we would have already created the DRI equivalent to at least 15% of the face value, that is 15% of 4 lakh, which is 60,000. It would have been purchased. So now this investment will be sold off before the redemption, on the date of redemption, but before passing the redemption entries. So the redemption date is 31st March 2020. So on this date, on 31st March 2020, we will be selling off this investment. And it is just like sale of any asset. So the entry will be bank account debited 60,000. Now since we are selling off the investment, the entire investment, the investment account needs to be closed. So we'll credit to debenture redemption investment account the amount whichever we have realized. So since the question is silent about whether we are selling the investment at a profit or not, so we are assuming that whatsoever amount was investment, that has been realized. 60,000, 60,000. The narration will be being DRI sold. Now the very important part. Without this is an implied entry, this is an implied adjustment. And if you do not follow this, your question, you will lose your mark basically. Transfer of DRR to general reserve. Transfer of debenture redemption reserve to general reserve. If you remember, the companies which are required to create the DRR, debenture redemption reserve, why are they creating the DRR? So as to protect the interest of the investors in case the company fails or faces any failure in redeeming the debentures. The amount so kept aside in debenture redemption reserve can be utilized. So as soon as the company has redeemed the entire class of debentures or whatsoever the portion of debentures, the amount of DRR now needs to be closed. It needs to be transferred to a general reserve, which is a free reserve, so that this amount can be utilized further for any other purpose, because the purpose for which the DRR or debenture redemption reserve was created is fulfilled. So as you can read, after redeeming the debentures, the unlisted company other than NBFC and HFC, because these are entitled only to create DRR, will transfer the entire balance in the DRR account to general reserve account, which is a free reserve. Again the same example. On 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed on 31st March 2020. Amount which would have been transferred to DRR is at least 10% of the face value, that is 40,000. So after the debentures have been redeemed, after passing the redemption entries, the last entry will be for transferring the DRR amount to the general reserve account. So since we are redeeming the debentures on 31st March 2020, so the date of transfer of this DRR to general reserve will be the date of redemption, but after passing the redemption entries, that is debenture redemption reserve account will be debited, because now we are closing this reserve account to general reserve account, because now we are transferring the balance to general reserve. It will be increased. So the entry will be debenture redemption reserve account debited with the amount transferred of DRR, that is 40,000, to general reserve account 40,000. Without this entry, your question is incomplete. And as a part of narration, you can write for DRR transferred to general reserve. So these are the various important points which you need to remember. Now, journal entries when debentures are redeemed by different classes of companies. Which company will record which entry? So as you can see, banking companies, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs, because these companies are neither entitled for creation of DRR, not investing in DRI. So they will be passing, obviously we are discussing the entries at the time of redemption. So date of redemption in the date column. They are entitled to pass just two entries. First entry for the due, that is percentage debenture account debited to debenture holders account, and the second entry for the repayment, that is debenture holders account to bank account. All listed companies are not entitled to create the DRR, but they are entitled to invest in DRI. So they will be passing an additional entry regarding the investment in DRI and selling of DRI. So they will be passing, first of all, they will be passing at the time of redemption, they will be passing the entry for investing in DRI anytime between 1st to 30th April before the year of redemption or in the year of redemption. And then at the time of redemption, they will be realizing these investments. Then they will be passing the due entry, debenture to debenture holders, and then they will be making the payment entry. Then all the unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, these are entitled both for the creation of DRR as well as for investing in DRI. So they will be passing all the entries. First of all, at the time of redemption or related to redemption, first of all, they will be passing the entry for creation of DRR out of profits. What will be the date? That we have already discussed, depending on the year in which it has incurred profit. Surplus in statement of PL debited to debenture redemption reserve account. Secondly, it will pass the entry for investing in DRI anytime between 1st to 30th April in the year of redemption, that is debenture redemption investment account debited to bank account. Then these investments will be sold off and amount will be realized on the date of redemption before the redemption begins, that is bank account debited to debenture redemption investment account. Then the first two entries can be, the date can be interchanged depending on the creation of DRR. Then after realizing the investment, the due entry will be passed on the date of redemption, percentage debenture account debited to debenture holders account. Then on the date of redemption, the payment will be made, debenture holder's account debited to bank account. And lastly, the very important entry, transfer of DRR after the redemption. Remember, after the redemption to general reserve. That is, debenture redemption reserve account debited to general reserve account. Now, interest from DRI, that is interest from debenture redemption investment. Obviously, if the company is redeeming if the company is investing in any kind of securities or fixed deposit of anything, the company sometimes or many a times earns interest on which the tax is deducted as source. A TDS is deducted. So the interest earned by the company on its DRI may be subject to tax deduction at source, that is TDS. For example, if the company has made its DRI in a fixed deposit with a bank, then the source of earning interest on this fixed deposit DRI by the company is the bank, which is the source for earning interest. Who is giving the interest? That is the bank. So the bank will deduct the tax on this interest, the TDS on this interest, and the company will receive the net interest from the bank after the deduction of TDS. The tax so deducted by the bank will be deposited by it on behalf of the company to the government. Basically, this TDS is payable by the company, but it is deducted and paid or deposited by the bank on behalf of the company to the government. This tax on the interest income is an asset of the company as it is a part of its interest income not received from the bank, because it is deposited in the government account as a part of TDS on the behalf of the company. So the journal entry for interest on debenture redemption investment without TDS, if the TDS has not been deducted, then in that case the simple entry will be there, bank account debited to interest on debenture redemption investment account with the amount of net interest if we are not including the TDS, without TDS. Bank account is debited because obviously the money is coming in, the bank balance is increasing, and interest on debenture redemption investment is credited. Why? Because it is an income for the company. Then journal entry for interest on debenture redemption investment with TDS. The entry will be bank account will be debited with the net amount so received. TDS collected or receivable account will be debited because it is an asset. It is the amount which is not received by the bank because bank has deposited it in the government account on behalf of the company. So TDS collected or TDS receivable account will be debited to, again, interest on debenture redemption investment. So interest on debenture redemption investment will be credited since it is an income, so it will be credited with the gross amount. TDS collected is an asset, therefore it will be debited with the amount of TDS, and bank account will be debited with the amount of net interest received by the company. The narration can be being net interest received on DRI after TDS. Now we know that whether it is an expense or it is an income, it needs to be closed or written off. So the journal entry to close interest on DRI account, this entry is also very, very important. You need to write off. You need to close. So when we had received interest on DRI, it was credited. Now when we are transferring it, when we are closing it, so we will debit it. So interest on DRI account debited with the amount with which it was credited to statement in PL. It is a nominal account, so where we will be closing it or transferring it, statement in PL. No PL account because it is a case of company. So to statement in PL. What can be the narration? Being interest on DRI transferred to statement of PL. Now, very important point, year of writing of discount or loss on issue of debentures. Whatever the loss the company is incurring on issue of debentures, whether it is related to a discount given on issue of debentures or it is related to premium to be paid at the time of redemption, whatsoever the case may be. Whatever the loss or discount is incurred at or recorded at the time of issue of debenture needs to be written off. When it needs to be written off, there can be two cases, as you can see. Either in the year in which the debentures are issued, if nothing is specified in the question regarding the period of its writing off, or over the lifetime of the debentures if the period of writing off is specified in the question. So these discount or loss on issue of debentures can be written off either in the year of loss when these losses were incurred, or in the year when the debentures were issued, because that is the year of recording the loss, incurring the loss, if nothing is specified in the question regarding the writing of the time, or over the lifetime of the debentures, that means writing it off in installments, as the case may be. So you can see there is a small tick mark in the first category, that is in the year in which the debentures are issued, if nothing is specified in the question regarding the period of its writing off. So that means we will be following this one. That means the discount or loss on issue of debentures will be written off in the year when it was incurred. Now, where to write off these losses from? Discount or loss on issue of debentures is written off from the same order which we have discussed in the issue of debentures chapter. Either from securities premium reserve if the company has a balance. The first priority is given to securities premium reserve. Why? Because children, these securities premium reserve, if you remember, we have learnt its section and the provisions in the issue of shares chapter. So the utilization of such securities premium reserve is very much restricted. So therefore we first of all we give the preference to securities premium reserve if the company has the balance. If the company doesn't have the balance, or if it is insufficient, then these losses or discount on issue of debentures can be written off from capital reserve if the company has a balance, or if it is sufficient. Then the third priority is given to the general reserve if specified in the question, as general reserve is created from revenue profit. And lastly, from statement of P&L, that is profit and loss. So I hope all the topics which we have discussed in detail in this video, quite a lengthy video it is, so just go through the video once again, go through each and every point which we have discussed here. In the upcoming video we will be discussing the various practical questions on this. This is the assignment based on this part. You have to, question number 1, you have to answer these questions in your copies, in your registers. Question number 1 is, what is the maximum limit of debentures which unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs can redeem out of capital? So if you remember, how much minimum the company has to redeem out of profit, these companies have to redeem out of profit? At least 10%. So that means the maximum amount which they can redeem out of capital is 90%. Don't get confused. Till last year, the provisions were different. Maximum limit of debentures which could be redeemed out of capital was 75%, because DRR was to be created a minimum of 25%. But according as per the new rules, a minimum of 10% has to be transferred to DRR by such companies. So that means maximum 90% can be redeemed out of capital. Question number 2, list the companies which are exempted from creating a DRR. So all the companies which we have categorized who can issue debentures, other than the unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, are exempted from creation of DRR. That is all financial institutions regulated by RBI, then your banking companies, then all the listed companies, then unlisted companies and unlisted NBFCs and HFCs, etc. Question number 3, mention the sources of finance for redemption of debentures. So redemption of debentures can be redeemed either out of profits only, or out of capital only, or both, partially from profits and partially from capital. So these are the questions which you are required to do in your copies, children. Go through the video once again, revise each and every point very carefully, because we will be discussing a number of practical questions on such basis. So thank you, children. Take care.